edition of Brownsville As Is with
A for Achana.
S for Sonia. And Achana, today we are in the historic district of Jefferson St. It's a National Registered Historic District here in town. And I thought I knew the history here, but I am learning more and more that I don't know the history.
You know, I'm excited to be here right on the corner of Jefferson and Jackson, right near 33 Jefferson Street. How about that?
Yes.
A building that has a rich history, a lot of varied history, I think is what you used earlier when we were talking. And it now serves as the home of Winfield Lodge, number 52, and the Order of the Eastern Star.
Yeah, and Dr. Zanice Bond, who is Associate Professor at Tuskegee University, but she's a Brownsville native.
That's right.
And she's here today to talk to us about some of the history of this building.
I'm excited. I think it's time.
Me too.
Y'all come on.
Really happy to be a part of the Jefferson Historic District Project. We are excited to look back in history and see what kind of economic opportunities, what kind of economic innovations were a part of this wonderful Brownsville, Tennessee. Well, I think that because there are a lot of Jefferson Streets across the country, oftentimes Jefferson Street is a place where we have a high concentration of African Americans, and this particular area had lots of Black residents and also lots of businesses, people who were taking the kind of entrepreneurial leap to help their fellow citizens and then to help themselves be a part of this system, but also helping the community to fulfill certain needs. Why was it called Black Wall Street? I think that we have this concentration of people who were really working on developing not only the community, but themselves, and thinking about their families and the future of their families as well. Okay. The building on the corner of Jefferson and Jackson is a uniquely historical building in that it is a site that allows us to look at local history, African American history, women's history, all within the same building. And from my own memory, I remember when the building was called the Haywood County Supermarket, and Mrs. Nola Walker Bond, who was a community activist and an entrepreneur and an NAACP woman, and she was active up until her death. She was the one who ran the Haywood County Supermarket. It was actually a supermarket for the people. People were able to get certificates and buy into the supermarket. So it was really to help everyone. We all need to feed our families. We all need to feed our families and be able to be respected when we enter an establishment where we're giving our money for goods and services. So the Haywood County Supermarket did that. It filled a really important need for folk here in Brownsville, particularly African Americans who were trying to register to vote. And in some instances, if other store owners knew that someone had registered to vote, then these people would not be allowed to purchase items in the stores. So that it produced a lot of extra stress and anxiety in the families. So that's one reason that the building is such an important place. Now, if we go back a little bit farther in history, we see that it was called the Service Sundry Drug Store. Now, it is a unique place because the manager was Maud E. Rawls, and then within the building, within the establishment, there was a jeweler, an African-American jeweler, William Williamson, who later became the founding vice president of the Brownsville NAACP chapter here in town. And the pharmacist was female, an African-American woman from Keeling, Tennessee, Gustava Macklin Vance. And she was a graduate of Tuskegee Institute, a historically black college, HBCU, that had the first president, Booker T. Washington. So this space offered sundaes and ice cream treats and cakes and pies and food. People used to come by and listen to the radio when the Brown bomber was about to box Joe Louis. So it's a very central place in the community for jewelry, for medicines, for food, for fellowship. And no doubt people were gathering to talk about events that were going on in the community, civil rights events, efforts to vote, things that were happening on a state and national level in terms of citizenship rights and opportunities for African Americans. So as I said, it gives us a sense of local history as well as women's history, as well as African American history, all in one building, one location. And then we see the intersection of human rights issues and certainly women and workers. So it's just such a lovely building to honor and respect and to pay homage to at this time. It is now currently it's owned by the Masonic Lodge. So we have folk in the African American community will know the Prince Hall Masons as a very important part of the cultural and social fiber of African Americans, and their female partners, the Eastern Stars. So if you see the building now, you'll see the emblems that reflect these wonderful organizations. And again, it helps us to really, this building is a part of, it helps to document the efforts that African Americans made to be a part of the nation and to be autonomous and members of the society and also contributors, because once the people were able to, there were jobs, then there were opportunities to purchase more land or purchase other property, to attend schools, to come back, and then really to help to revitalize the community in which they were living. So we see the almost full circle. The Masons and the Eastern Stars are in this building now, and the really important work that they do on behalf of citizens is important. The Jefferson Street Historic District is really an important site for us to think about our past, but it's also an opportunity for us to think about our future as Haywood Countyans, and it's an opportunity for us to grow together as citizens, looking back and seeing what was and potentially what can be built.
So Sonia, what do you think?
I just think there is so much history in this area. Can you imagine the first black pharmacist, the first female black pharmacist in this county, and all of the history that has gone on in this building and continues today.
Right. That's right. 33 Jefferson Avenue. How about that?
Yep. So I'm looking forward to learning more about this street, and we will share with y'all as we learn more of the history of this area.
That's it. And until then,
bye y'all.
Bye.